The barren landscape of Zeta-9 stretched out beneath a violet sky, its surface scattered with the remnants of an ancient civilization. Dr. Amina Hart, a seasoned archaeologist, stood at the entrance of a newly discovered ruin, her heart pounding with excitement. She adjusted her helmet, feeling the familiar rush of adrenaline that came with uncovering the secrets of the past. "Careful with that, Caleb," she called to her colleague, Caleb Ing, who was carefully setting up equipment. The rest of the team busied themselves with securing the area and preparing for the excavation. Amina's gaze wandered over the alien architecture, marveling at the intricate carvings that adorned the walls. These ruins were unlike anything they had seen before, hinting at a technologically advanced society that had vanished without a trace. As they ventured deeper, the air grew cooler, and a faint hum resonated through the chamber. "Dr. Hart, over here." Caleb's voice echoed, breaking the silence. He was standing in front of a large metallic door, its surface etched with symbols. Amina approached, her curiosity piqued. Together, they managed to pry the door open, revealing a vast chamber lit by an ethereal blue glow. At the center of the room stood a pedestal holding a sleek, orb-like device. "This must be it," Amina whispered, her eyes widening. "The Central Archive." The team gathered around, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. Amina reached out, her fingers brushing against the cool surface of the device. As she did, the orb flickered to life, projecting a series of holographic images into the air. The room fell silent as they watched the images unfold, a vivid depiction of the alien civilization in its final days. The recordings showed a society in turmoil, teetering on the brink of collapse. Amina felt a chill run down her spine, realizing they were witnessing the end of a world. The holographic images danced in the air, casting a ghostly glow over the team. The alien figures moved with a grace that was both beautiful and eerie, their expressions conveying a mix of desperation and resignation. It was clear they were witnessing a civilization facing an existential crisis. Amina stood transfixed, her mind racing with questions. What had happened to these beings? Why had their society crumbled? As the scenes played out, the team watched as the aliens struggled with what appeared to be environmental disasters and internal conflicts. The air was thick with tension, a stark contrast to the calm, dusty silence of the chamber. "We need to document this," Caleb said, breaking the spell. He quickly set up a portable scanner to capture the holographic display. The team members murmured in agreement, snapping out of their trance-like state. Amina nodded, though her thoughts were elsewhere. The images had stirred something deep within her, a sense of urgency and a desire to understand the full story. She knew they had stumbled upon something significant, something that could potentially change everything they knew about alien civilizations. As the last image faded, the room fell into darkness, save for the faint glow of their equipment. Amina turned to the team, her voice steady but tinged with excitement. "We need to analyze these recordings thoroughly. This could be the key to understanding what happened here." Caleb nodded, though his expression was more cautious. "We should also consider the implications of sharing this information," he said, his eyes meeting hers. "It could have serious repercussions." Amina understood his concern, but she couldn't shake the feeling that they had a duty to uncover and share the truth. As they began to pack up their equipment, she resolved to delve deeper into the recordings, no matter what secrets they might reveal. As the team returned to their base camp, the atmosphere was a mix of excitement and tension. The discovery of the recordings had sparked a debate among the members about the next steps. Amina could feel the weight of the decision bearing down on her. In the dimly lit command center, she reviewed the data they had gathered. The holographic recordings depicted more than just environmental disasters. They hinted at social unrest and a breakdown in governance. Amina's mind raced as she pieced together the fragments of the alien civilization's story. Caleb entered the room, looking concerned. "Amina, I've been thinking. If we release this information, it could cause panic back on Earth. People might see parallels with our own situation." Amina sighed, rubbing her temples. She knew Caleb was right. The recordings showed a civilization grappling with challenges similar to those faced by humanity: climate change, political instability, and social division. The aliens' fate could serve as a cautionary tale, but it could also incite fear. But we can't just bury this, Amina argued. We have a responsibility to share our findings. What if this information could help us avoid a similar fate? Caleb shook his head. Or it could lead to mass hysteria. The government will want to control this narrative, and I can't say I blame them. Amina felt a surge of frustration. She respected Caleb's pragmatism, but her instincts told her that transparency was crucial. The truth, no matter how uncomfortable, needed to be revealed. Yet, she also understood the potential consequences of such a revelation. The rest of the team filtered in, their expressions a mix of curiosity and concern. They gathered around the central console, where Amina had displayed a summary of their findings. We need to make a decision, Amina said, her voice firm. Do we release these recordings, knowing they could cause unrest, or do we withhold them and risk losing vital lessons? The room fell silent as the team pondered the implications. Amina knew this wasn't a decision to be taken lightly. The recordings held powerful truths, but the question remained, was the world ready to face them? Caleb broke the silence. We should at least inform the authorities and let them decide. Amina nodded, but her resolve was clear. She would not let this discovery be buried. Somehow the truth had to come out. Determined to uncover the full story, Amina and her team worked late into the night, analyzing the recordings. The more they watched, the more they realized the depth of the alien civilization's crisis. The recordings showed desperate attempts to mitigate environmental damage, political leaders struggling to maintain order, and a populace increasingly divided. One particular sequence caught Amina's attention. It depicted a gathering of alien leaders, their expressions grave. The dialogue, though untranslated, was filled with gestures indicating urgency and despair. Alara, the AI assistant, had been working tirelessly to decode the alien language, and she managed to translate key phrases. This part talks about a final solution to preserve their knowledge, Alara explained. It seems they were aware of their impending doom and wanted to ensure their history would not be forgotten. Amina felt a chill. The realization that the aliens had foreseen their own end and tried to leave a message for the future was both heartbreaking and profound. It underscored the importance of their mission, to learn from the past to protect the future. As they delved deeper, Amina and Alara uncovered a hidden message encoded within the recordings. It was a warning, not just about the mistakes that led to their downfall, but also a plea to any future civilization to heed the lessons of their history. This is it, Amina whispered. This is what we need to share with the world. The team exchanged glances, understanding the gravity of their discovery. Amina felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had to find a way to share this knowledge responsibly, balancing the need for transparency with the potential consequences of revealing such a sobering truth. The next morning, as the team prepared to continue their analysis, they received an encrypted transmission from Earth. The government's interest in their findings had escalated. They wanted a full report immediately, with instructions to cease all independent analysis. Amina felt a knot of anxiety form in her stomach. The government's intervention was not unexpected, but the direct order to halt their research was alarming. She and Caleb gathered the team to discuss their options. They're clearly worried about the implications of our discovery, Caleb said, pacing the room. If we comply, they might bury this information. Amina nodded, her mind racing. She understood the government's desire to control the narrative, especially if the recordings revealed uncomfortable truths about societal collapse. Yet, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were being asked to suppress vital knowledge that could help humanity avoid similar pitfalls. We can't just stop, Amina insisted. We have a duty to fully understand what we've found and share it responsibly. Caleb stopped and looked at her, a mixture of concern and determination in his eyes. We need to be careful, Amina. If we defy the government, there could be serious consequences. Amina knew he was right, but she also knew they had to find a way to continue their work without compromising their principles. She glanced around the room at her team, all of whom looked equally conflicted. We'll comply with their request for a report, she said finally, but we keep a copy of everything we've discovered. We need to protect this knowledge, even if it means going against orders. The team nodded in agreement, understanding the risks, but also the importance of their mission. As they prepared the report, Amina resolved to find a way to share the recordings with the public, even if it meant risking everything. As the team finalized their report, Amina and Alara continued to decode the alien message. The more they uncovered, the clearer it became that the aliens had intended their warning to serve as a guide for future civilizations. The message spoke of the dangers of ignoring environmental degradation, the consequences of political polarization, and the need for unity in the face of global challenges. "This is incredible," Amina murmured, her eyes scanning the translated text. They knew exactly what was happening to them and tried to prevent others from making the same mistakes. Alara projected the decoded message onto the central console, highlighting key phrases. They mention a final archive, a repository of their knowledge and experiences, intended to be a beacon for any who might find it. Amina's heart raced. The urgency of sharing this message had never felt more pressing. She glanced at Caleb, who was deep in thought. "This isn't just a historical record," Amina said, her voice filled with conviction. "It's a plea for understanding and change. We have to find a way to get this out." Caleb nodded slowly, his initial caution giving way to the realization of the message's importance. "We need to consider how to present this information without causing unnecessary panic. If framed correctly, it could inspire action rather than fear." The team brainstormed ways to disseminate the message. They decided to create a comprehensive report, emphasizing the parallels between the alien situation and current global challenges, while also highlighting the potential for positive change. They planned to release the report through academic channels, ensuring it reached influential scientists and policymakers. However, Amina knew this wouldn't be enough. The message needed a broader audience to truly make an impact. She thought about the power of the recordings, the visual and emotional weight they carried. Amina decided to prepare a public appeal, explaining the significance of the findings and urging for a global response. As they worked, a sense of purpose united the team. Despite the risks, they were committed to ensuring that the alien civilization's warning would not go unheard. Amina felt a deep sense of responsibility, knowing that their actions could help shape the future of humanity. With the report and the public appeal ready, they faced one final challenge: ensuring the information reached the public before the government could suppress it. Amina knew they were walking a fine line, but she was prepared to do whatever it took to honor the legacy of the fallen civilization and protect her own. As the team prepared to release their findings, Amina sensed a growing tension within the group. Caleb, in particular, seemed increasingly preoccupied. One evening, as they finalized their plans, Amina confronted him. "Caleb, what's going on? You've been acting strange," Amina asked, her voice laced with concern. Caleb hesitated, then sighed heavily. "I contacted the government. I thought it was the responsible thing to do. They need to control the narrative to prevent chaos." Amina felt a wave of anger and betrayal wash over her. "You did what? How could you go behind our backs like that?" Caleb's face was a mixture of guilt and frustration. "I did what I thought was right. The last thing we need is mass panic. The government can handle this better than we can." Amina struggled to contain her emotions. She knew Caleb believed he was acting in the best interest of the public, but his actions had compromised their mission. The government would likely suppress the most critical parts of their findings, the very elements that could spur necessary change. "Caleb, they will bury this," she said, her voice low and urgent. "They don't want the truth out because it threatens their control. We owe it to those who came before us to share this message." The team watched the exchange in stunned silence, their loyalties torn. Amina knew they had little time before the government intervened fully. Despite Caleb's betrayal, she had to act swiftly to ensure the message reached the public. "We need to move fast," Amina said, turning to the others. "Release the report and the recordings before it's too late. We can't let this be silenced." With a sense of urgency, Amina and the team finalized their public appeal. They had decided to release the recordings along with a detailed report, framing the findings as a crucial lesson for humanity. The report emphasized the parallels between the alien civilization's downfall and the current state of Earth, stressing the importance of heeding these warnings to avoid a similar fate. As they uploaded the files to secure servers and prepared to disseminate the information widely, Amina felt a mix of anxiety and determination. The risk of governmental backlash loomed large, but the imperative to share the truth outweighed her fears. The appeal video featured Amina, speaking directly to the camera. Her voice was calm but firm as she explained the significance of their discovery and the urgent need for global cooperation to address the challenges highlighted by the alien recordings. "We stand at a crossroads," Amina said, her gaze steady. "The lessons from Zeta-9 are clear. Without unity and decisive action, we risk repeating the mistakes of the past. This knowledge belongs to all of us, and it is our collective responsibility to act on it." The video concluded with a plea for transparency and global dialogue, urging leaders and citizens alike to prioritize sustainability and cooperation over short-term gains and divisiveness. As they prepared to release the video, the team received an urgent message. Government agents were en route to their location. Amina's heart raced as she realized they had to act immediately. With a few quick commands, they launched the report and video across multiple platforms, ensuring it would reach a wide audience. As they watched the uploads complete, the gravity of their actions settled over them. Just as the last file went live, the command center's doors burst open. Armed agents stormed in, led by a stern-faced official. "This is a government order. Cease all activities and surrender your equipment," he commanded. Amina stood tall, refusing to back down. "The truth is out there now. You can't stop it." The official's expression darkened, but Amina knew they had already succeeded. The information was spreading rapidly, igniting discussions and debates worldwide. As she and her team were escorted away, she felt a sense of accomplishment mixed with uncertainty about the future. They had done their part. Now, it was up to the world to decide how to respond. As the government detained Amina and her team, the impact of their release began to ripple across the globe. The recordings and reports spread rapidly online, reaching millions within hours. Social media platforms buzzed with discussions, and news outlets picked up the story, highlighting the parallels between the alien civilization's downfall and contemporary global issues. Public reaction was mixed. Some people were fearful, interpreting the message as a dire warning of imminent disaster. Others saw it as a call to action, advocating for urgent changes in environmental policy and international cooperation. The debate intensified as experts weighed in, providing context and analysis. Within the government, the response was swift. Officials scrambled to manage the fallout, issuing statements to downplay the significance of the findings and assure the public that measures were in place to address the highlighted issues. However, the sheer scale of public interest made it impossible to control the narrative entirely. Amina and her team, held in a secure facility, watched the developments with a mix of relief and apprehension. They knew they had succeeded in making the information public, but the government's reaction was still a looming threat. The authorities had yet to decide how to handle their act of defiance. One evening, as they were discussing their situation, a guard approached with unexpected news. "You've been granted a temporary release," he said. "The public outcry has been overwhelming, and there's pressure to treat you leniently." As they were escorted out, Amina felt a surge of hope. The public's support and the widespread dissemination of the information meant their message would not be easily suppressed. While the future remained uncertain, they had ignited a global conversation that could lead to meaningful change. Returning to Earth, Amina and her team were greeted by a divided public. Supporters hailed them as heroes, while detractors accused them of reckless behavior. Despite the controversy, the conversations sparked by their findings led to significant developments. Governments and international organizations began to convene emergency summits, discussing the implications of the alien recordings and the urgent need for global cooperation. Environmental policies were scrutinized and strengthened, and there was a renewed focus on addressing social and political divisions. Amina watched these events unfold with a sense of fulfillment. The alien civilization's warning had been heeded, and humanity was beginning to take steps to avoid repeating their mistakes. She reflected on the journey, grateful for her team's courage and resilience. The story of Zeta-9 became a powerful symbol of the potential for human societies to learn from the past and change course. As debates and discussions continued, Amina found solace in the knowledge that they had honored the legacy of the lost civilization by sharing their message. Looking ahead, she knew there were still challenges to overcome. The path to global unity and sustainability was fraught with obstacles, but the first steps had been taken. The alien message served as a reminder of what was at stake and a beacon of hope for a better future. As Amina and her team considered their next steps, they received word of another discovery, an ancient artifact on a distant planet, potentially holding more secrets of the universe. The prospect of further exploration and the chance to uncover new knowledge invigorated them. The story of Zeta-9 was just the beginning. The truth they had revealed had the power to shape the future, and Amina was determined to continue her quest for understanding, wherever it might lead. If you're eager to explore more mysteries and adventures beyond our own world, click on the video appearing on your screen now. Dive into another thrilling sci-fi story from our Sci-Fi Story Vault and continue your voyage into the unknown. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales from the cosmos. The universe is vast, and its stories are waiting for you.